Hello. So this message today was very, I don't know. There's a lot of things that kind of came up for me in this one. But our first card is Thetis. So she was courted by Zeus until he found out that she would have a son that was stronger than him, which was Achilles eventually. So he forced her to marry this mortal man. And then when he went to go send him to her, being a prophetess and somebody who was able to shapeshift, she transformed into all these different animals just to evade him. When it talks about her message, it talks about use your beliefs as a stepping stone. They shouldn't be set in stone, and using different things along your way as inspirations and the ability to shift and change. And I feel like that's a huge part of my life right now, because if you look at the Liminal Forrest Oracle, is transition. Transition talks about, pivotal parts of your life where things can kind of shake up, tower moments, or even just little things that kind of shift your focus or shift your path a little bit. A lot of times that is to bring growth and kind of transition you to another path. I've had a lot of that lately. So the first row, we have the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. And if you know me, that first row is definitely about what the energy is right now. So this is, we're given a new opportunity in a passion, a love, a spiritual path, something that flows with the water. Spirit is handing us something that sparks us emotionally or spiritually or creatively. That makes us feel, right? That gives us that feeling of those watery feelings, right? Then underneath that, we have Ace of Pentacles. My Ace of Pentacles vision is that you have all of the understanding. It's almost like you're kind of like things click, right? You kind of know what you're doing. You can feel what you're doing. You're at a good spot where you kind of know who you are and you have the resources, whether it be knowledge or wherever you are at this point in life, to be able to do that thing. Now, the Queen of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups in the area of what we need to work on. Maybe we need to be a little more centered in our here and now, like the Queen of Pentacles. She's also comes with kind of like a warning about sometimes overindulging, because with the comforts around her. But all in all, she's a very warm and caring person, and she knows how to handle herself in the material plane. And then we have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups can be having choices and sometimes too many distractions. So being that it's something we need to work on, maybe we need to prioritize a little bit. And then in my third row is always the things that you have around you and the resources, people around you, the energy around you, the energy that you're in, things that you can use to help you along the path. And we have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands can be fast-moving energy, and Wands being spiritual energy or passion or drive. Maybe that's something that you have, but you also have discernment with the King of Swords, right? There's this fast energy, some type of like passion or momentum that's in here, but you also, with that passion and that drive, you also have the ability to discern, right? We have the knowledge, we have the understanding of the King of Swords. And in the last row, we have Six of Wands, which is always success or recognition, something like that. And then we have that over the Five of Wands. So to me, it feels like it's success over a time of trial or feeling like there's competition or a little bit of frustration. Because the Five of Swords or the Five of Wands is not so much as dramatic, right? It's more about, like, if you look, they're using sticks. In the Rider-Waite, they're little kids using fake swords. They're adolescents just playing. So it's kind of like training. So this is something that, you will have success because training. So that you're going to get through these things in this transition. I definitely feel like we are going to be okay. We're going to have success and recognition in this turbulent times. So it kind of feels like we're going through a transition. And a lot of times that is where things kind of get a little messy. You take a little bit of the old narrative and we're going into the new narrative. So it can be a little rocky, but I feel like we're going to be successful. Use your beliefs as a stepping stone. They're not set in stone. We evolve. Things happen that kind of change our focus because we grow and we learn, right? And so we have our Herbal Astrology Oracle, which the first one is Rishi. Rishi for me is a signal card that I'm getting a sign from my my guides. So I feel like this one is telling me something personally. And for some reason, if you look at like the numbers, this is card number 27. but the card below it was number 3, but it came on the page 27. So the number 27 might mean something for me. And then there's also another little detail. So the number 369 might mean something to somebody. I get that a lot when I'm kind of going through something. It's kind of like a reminder that I have the ability to shift my focus and create my reality, right? So Rishi talks about rest, revival. It's having to step back and not get overwhelmed by the things that we can't change, right? When we're during a transition, that's a really good time to rest, meditate, drink lots of water, put your mental state at a priority, because there's a lot of changes going on within your body, within your soul, within your surroundings, okay? So I feel like that's something that's important for somebody. Maybe it's important for me. I don't know. And then the card underneath of it is rosemary, which happens to be number 3. And like I said, when I flipped to that, it is right, it's on page 27. That just blew my mind. So maybe the number 3, maybe the number 27, or maybe even 369, because earlier I pulled a yes, no card. And I don't like to do that because I feel like when there's a yes, no, it gives people the opportunity to ask questions that they really need to be discerning for themselves. But if somebody is really looking for an answer and any of this resonates with them, it might be yes. Now, honestly, if it's something that's going to harm somebody or kind of mess up your life in a negative way, don't take it, because I feel like a lot of times people do that. Use your discernment. But it was a yes and the number 6. So that's where I get the number 369 from. Anyway, so rosemary. Rosemary is very purifying, and it's antibacterial, antiviral. It's a excellent herb, but also this talks about ancient memory, multidimensional sight, very prophetic type of energy. And it talks about commitment to a vision. So it feels like, tying in all of this, there's a turbulent time where things that you thought the way they were might not be, and it's shifting your beliefs or who you need to be, and you're transitioning into whether it's your personality, your beliefs, your work, or your family. Something is happening that's changing the way things were, but at the core, your vision is still there, and that's what stays true to you. Use your discernment, tap into that ancient knowing, because there's a reason why this vision is there, correct? The number 369 just keeps coming up, and I feel like that's reminding me to tell you and to tell myself that we do create our reality by our thoughts, our actions, and our drives. Take that time to settle in with yourself and feel it out. I hope that helped somebody. I was kind of all over today. This is kind of like a fast-moving energy, very 8 of Wands feeling. And I love you guys. I'll see you later.